Let me quickly cut across to the United Nations building to the UN headquarters in New York. Rahul Kanwal joins us live. Rahul, take it away. It's all set to begin.
Oh, absolutely. The setting is all done now. Moments from now, the International Day of Yoga gets started. Most people have gone in. They were in a holding area, especially the dignitaries who've been called in, and now they've been taken to their mat. And the level of enthusiasm, Gaurav, amongst the people who've come here seems to be quite high. So not just are they here early in the morning on a nippy New York June morning, they're also quite enthusiastic about being a part of the International Day of Yoga, and they've been getting together for a couple of hours now. And we're told that in just a moment from now, the International Day of Yoga here at the United Nations headquarters is about to start, Gaurav.
Rahul, do we have an idea what all is likely to happen over the course of the next hour or so? Is this just, just the asanas, or will there be an explanation? Will those who've benefited from yoga also be talking about it, as was expected earlier?
A lot of top yoga practitioners, and we spoke to a few of them as they were coming in, and they were describing their yoga journeys in the Himalayas and elsewhere. So yoga is something they obviously take very seriously. We've actually seen a few of the International Days of Yoga in the past, Gaurav, where the Prime Minister really leads everyone as they go through a different set of routines, and that's really the way it's been in the past. And then, of course, once that gets over, then everybody talks about their personal journey, their personal experiences, as they explain their connections with yoga. So that's something that we're going to be seeing. We've seen it in the past. This is the 9th International Day of Yoga, and the interesting thing is that every year, whether it's the Prime Minister or all ministers around him, they try and find something special, something new, something which takes the journey further, something which is bigger or better, grander than what's been done in the past, and that's really the way it's been. And now this is a routine feature in the calendar, and something which a lot of people are looking forward to and set for, Gaurav.
Rahul, just to add on to that particular question from Gaurav, are we expecting the Prime Minister to also be speaking there, Rahul, before the crowd really comes together to perform yoga? You also had a chance to go in. Did you get to see what it's really looking like? Is it a full house?
It's more or less a full house. I mean, right towards the end where the media is actually quite far away from where the actual yoga is happening. So you're which is why I came out to our cameras, because you're kind of at a distance. You've got the lawns in front, you've got people on those mats doing the yoga, and those are people who, Akshita, as we saw, and we've been speaking to them as they've been coming in from different parts of New York and in the areas around it. They'll be doing yoga out in the out in the lawns on those mats. The media is slightly distant away, and a lot of the international celebrities who are here, a lot of local influencers who are here. And the interesting thing about bringing these influencers in is that they've been doing their own thing, recording their own videos, talking about what they're doing, and carrying the message of the International Day of Yoga, Akshita, to their audiences, to the people who connect with them on social media, and spreading the message not just amongst the Indian American community, the Desis who are here, but amongst the larger community of people in New York and the United States, that everybody gets plugged in to the yoga story, and as an extension to the India story.
Interesting you say that. So they're being plugged into the yoga story, and they're being plugged into the India story. And that's exactly what Prime Minister Narendra Modi is doing, Rahul, virtually on every stage, hard selling India as the spiritual destination, as a tourist destination, as an IT destination, and as a market that's open for the whole world to invest in.
Gaurav, there are some things that don't change. I've been coming to the United Nations headquarters in different capacities for about 2 decades now. The telecom signal here, as you know well, has been really bad for these last 2 decades. And just as it's a pain trying to go in and come out, the signal just doesn't improve. I couldn't hear the whole of your question, but I got a part of it. And yes, you're absolutely right. Seeding the India story in different ways into what's happening at the larger community. And remember, Gaurav, that's the message the Prime Minister is seeking to send through the manner in which all these influencers, we had Nobel laureates, we had thinkers, physicists, market experts, investors here meeting the Prime Minister. Each of them in their interactions then carries that message. Each of these people are here at the International Day of Yoga, then carrying that message. The people coming and connecting with the Prime Minister, carrying the Prime Minister's message and carrying the India story back to back to whoever it is that they connect with. And these are people who, in different capacities, can influence and impact what's happening. And remember, in the manner in which we saw President Biden hit out at China soon after Secretary of State Anthony Blinken went to Beijing and came back, shows that there is a serious problem in the America-China relationship, and that is also possibly why India looks as appealing as it does for those in New York and Washington DC, because remember, India has refused to get into any kind of formal alliance structure with the United States on various issues, including purchase of Russian oil, on the Russia-Ukraine war. India's positions have been very different from what the United States would like. Despite that, that relationship continuing to deepen. We'll see a lot of that in Washington later in the afternoon today, and then of course tomorrow and day after, as that state visit officially gets started, because for example the GE 414 jet engine deal, a few months ago or a couple of years ago, if somebody had said that America would be willing not just to sell these jet engines but also transfer technology, you would have laughed that off. That simply the conversation itself wouldn't have been on the table. Now, not just has America agreed to sell the weapons, sell the jet engines to India, but also agreeing to a transfer of technology. That just shows the kind of trust there is between India and the United States at this moment. And we're told that as part of the initiative on critical and emerging technologies, there'll be a lot more of these announcements, some of which are expected to happen during the Prime Minister's visit and in the months to come, as these two countries really start writing a new chapter in their relations, Gaurav.